Thanks for staying with us here on Channels Television, and a warm welcome. You're watching the news at 5. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. We'll be bringing you stories making the rounds and the cause of the day. We started from the National Assembly, where the Senate has announced plans to hold a National Security Summit from September the 23rd to the 26th this year at the Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Conference Center in the nation's capital. The summit, themed Strengthening National Security Architecture in a Changing World, will bring together stakeholders to discuss solutions to Nigeria's security challenges, subject to presidential approval. Meanwhile, the Senate has declared the Onyegede-Ogobia Road in Benue State a national security project, urging urgent reconstruction due to its strategic importance and security concerns. The lawmakers cited recent attacks along the route and called for immediate rehabilitation, improved drainage, and adequate funding. The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, explained better road infrastructure would enhance security, transportation, and economic activities nationwide. Meanwhile, the Senate has warned ministries, departments, agencies, and government-owned enterprises that continued failure to honor National Assembly invitations will attract constitutional sanctions. Lawmakers reaffirmed their oversight powers and directed all agencies to comply with summons, with some senators proposing tougher measures, including arrest warrants and withholding budgetary allocations for persistent defaulters. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, also apologized to Senator Adams Oshiomhole for revisiting remarks he had earlier described as unsenatorial, saying the issue had been resolved and reaffirming that their reconciliation remains intact. In another development, the Senate confirmed the appointment of Lamido Yuguda Abubakar as chairman of the board of the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, following the adoption of the report of its Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions. To the Federal High Court in Abuja, where Justice Salim Ibrahim has sentenced 3 persons to life in prison over their complicity in the kidnapping of students and teachers of a school in Orire local government area of Oyo State. Justice Ibrahim convicted and sentenced the defendants Abdul Razak Umar, also known as Abu Khalifa or Abu Khalid, Yunusa Musa, also known as Yunusa bin Musa, and Shamsu Adamusani, also known as Abu Itisar, after they pleaded guilty to some of the allegations the federal government leveled against them. The defendants were docked before the court on a 10-count charge that bordered on terrorism, kidnapping, concealment, incitement, and illegal mining. Following their arraignment, they admitted that they concealed information about the masterminds of the school attack. The defendants also admitted their membership of Darul Salam, which was described as an affiliate of Jamaat Wasrul Muslima fi Blandis, Sudan, otherwise known as Ansaru, a proscribed terrorist organization in Nigeria. While all 3 defendants pleaded guilty to counts 4 and 6 of the charge, only the first defendant, Umar, alias Abu Khalid, accepted guilt on counts 7, 8, 9, and 10, which bordered on allegations that he provided training and instructions to terrorists via a WhatsApp group titled "The Oneness of Allah is the Foundation of Peace." However, they maintained their innocence on the remaining counts of the charge. The convicts, all from Suleja local government of Niger State, were alleged to have conspired with one Mohammed Sani, Jibril Mohammed, and Ibrahim Kabab between January and May this year to kidnap school children and teachers in Oyo State, contrary to Section 26(1) of the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022. They are further alleged to have aided the kidnapping of the school children and teachers, as well as concealed information regarding the identities and activities of the alleged masterminds, despite knowledge of the plot, thereby committing offences contrary to Sections 26(2) and 16(1) of the Act, respectively. Meanwhile, the Department of State Services has expressed dissatisfaction with the judgment, saying the sentence was not commensurate with the crimes committed in Orire, especially the beheading of 2 teachers by members of the terrorist organization. A top official of the service said they would appeal the judgment. The Rapid Response Squad of the Ekiti State Police Command has arraigned an All Progressives Congress governorship aspirant in the Ekiti 2026 election, Abimbola Olaomi, before the state's magistrate court over alleged blackmail, cyberbullying, and death threats against the chief executive officer of agro-allied firm YSJ Limited, Yemisi Jolue. Allow-me, who appeared before the court today, denied all the 4-count allegations contained in the charges when they were read to her. During the proceedings, the police prosecutor, Samson Osobu, informed the court that the prosecution was not opposed to the defendant's bail application. However, counsel to the defendant, Ayokunle Okwade, urged the court to exercise its discretion in favor of his client, describing the charges as bailable offences. In his ruling, the Chief Magistrate, Abayomi Adeosun, granted the defendant bail on self-recognition and subsequently adjourned the matter until July the 28th this year for further hearing.
What happened was that some complainants and one YSJ, they had a petition against her at Abuja that she has been damaging their integrity. And they forward a petition to the IG, and IG forward same to the IG monitoring unit. Presently, they are still investigating the matter. They've sent signal, letter, and everything to the complainant that they should move down to Abuja so as to get the matter properly done, whether to charge it or otherwise. But they just use the instrument of executive rascality to come and pick her in the front of a Supreme Court. Though we know that what really happened, it was not what they were thinking about. When they rat laughs at cat, you know there is a hole nearby. So by special grace of God, she's ready to face her trial.
I'm not a politician. That is the reason why I was able to pick her up. So that there is no politician, no leader can call me to stop. And the battle have just begun. That's the honest truth. I am out for Abimbola now. We have to get justice. She must tell me, am I a politician? Where was she in 2023, 2024, 2025 when I was turning these children's life around? Now, they were close to an election then. She started saying all sorts of nonsense. Election is over. These children are crying round because she has cost them their job. I've told them I don't want to see them again. I don't have business with her. She is free to say anything. It's a free world. But what I am particular about is the kidnapping, and she have to prove why she put my numbers on the net. It is, of course, we all know what cyberbully is, and we all saw it. At least you media came to interview me then, asking all sorts of questions. I said I am not ready. Now I am ready to face her, and that is all.
Are you aware that she's been...
They came to my house twice. One of my staff has been killed, and I'm still waiting. All I need is justice. And that is all.
For a state that borders Zamfara, Niger and Sokoto, Kebbi is struggling with getting rid of terrorist elements who moved into the state from Zamfara and other states. But then the Commissioner for Information in Kebbi State, Mr. Yakubu Ahmed, who was our guest earlier today on the Morning Brief, explains that government is partnering with the armed forces to reverse the trend of insecurity in Kebbi.
In Kebbi State, as of today, we do not have one single cell of any group of bandits or insurgents in the southern part of the state where it was very, very prominent. What is happening in Kebbi State today? Bandits infiltrate from these states into Kebbi, perpetrate their evil, and turn back to their cells in Sokoto, Zamfara, or Niger State. We do not have any single cell of bandits. I agree, on the other part, on the side of Kebbi, we have the Lakora group, but if it's taken time, nothing has happened there because of the strategies that have been employed by the government. We're achieving successes now. In the last 2-3 weeks, a lot has happened. We're experiencing less attacks now, and we believe as a result of the changes that have been made, this will continue. Some very sensitive and critical deployments were made in parts of Kebbi State, especially by the military and the police. The military made some sensitive critical deployments of forward operation bases in parts of Kebbi State. The police too did about the same thing with their mobile police. And at that time, the thing completely changed. That is not to say we're not having challenges. We're having challenges, but Governor Nasarawa has invested more money than any governor in the northwestern part of the country by supporting the security agencies, by purchasing. At the last count, he bought more than 100 Hilux vans for them, thousands of motorcycles, whatever is supposed to be done by a governor in order to give the support required to deal with this situation. The Governor's Office has done much, much more than that.
The River State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, has arrested 3 suspects over alleged involvement in illegal mining of solid minerals in the state. Parading the suspects at the command headquarters in Port Harcourt, the NSCDC State Commandant, Mr. Dennis Ruben, explained that the suspects were apprehended by the command's Special Strike Force while conveying large quantity of solid minerals suspected to be zircon, otherwise known as black sand. The State Commandant, who conducted journalists around the impounded trucks conveying the black sand, said the suspects could not present valid documents authorizing mining of the solid mineral. He maintained that the command will not relent in its fight against illegal mining, illicit dealings in petroleum products, vandalism of critical national assets and infrastructure, and other forms of economic sabotage across the state. I'll call it shocking revelations indeed, and you will not be wrong. Well, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, the ICPC, have found that the Nigeria Police is having the highest number of suspected ghost workers. According to the Commission's chairman, Mr. Musa Adamu Aliyu, the discovery was found during the ICPC's payroll verification exercise conducted across several federal government institutions. 908 ghost workers were found in at least 50 ministries, departments and agencies, recovering about 942 million naira allegedly paid as fraudulent salaries. 570 were discovered to be police officers. Other affected institutions include the Federal Ministry of Electricity and the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, with 17 suspected fake workers each. The Federal Ministry of Health with 15, and the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation with 12. Nasarawa State is undergoing a lot of revamp, and the State Governor Abdullahi Sule is rejigging his cabinet to help drive his reforms. Our correspondent Halima Agayam reports on the sack of 6 commissioners and the impact of the new modifications in governance going forward.
Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State has carried out a minor cabinet reshuffle, relieving 6 commissioners of their appointments in what the administration describes as a move to strengthen governance and improve service delivery in the closing phase of his tenure. The affected commissioners headed the Ministry of Lands and Urban Development, Ministry of Women Affairs and Humanitarian Services, Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, Ministry of Works, Housing and Transport, Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, as well as Ministry of Special Duties, Security Affairs. Announcing the development after the State Executive Council meeting, the Secretary to the government said the move is to enable the government inject fresh energy into governance and also improve efficiency across key ministries and also accelerate the implementation of Governor Sule's priorities. The affected commissioners have been directed to hand over the affairs of their respective ministries to the permanent secretaries, pending further directives. Halima Agayam, Channels Television News.
When we come back after the break, NIWA and the NSIB collaborate to help tackle boat mishaps in different parts of the country. Join us again. Welcome back. As part of efforts to ensure safe water transportation, the National Inland Waterways Authority has announced plans to enforce the laws guiding it in the country. Now speaking in Lokoja, Kogi State, while playing host to the Director General of the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, the Acting Managing Director of NIWA, Umar Gire, reaffirmed the agency's commitment to ensuring safety on national inland waterways through stronger regulations, stakeholder engagement, and sustained public enlightenment.
Boat mishaps are a frequent and devastating occurrence in north-central Nigeria, particularly along the River Niger and major reservoirs. Many of these disasters result in loss of lives. One of the most recent cases is the tragic Mokwa incident in Niger State, in which at least 10 people died, and another in Ibaji, Kogi State in September 2025, where many deaths were also reported. To deal with some of these challenges, The leadership of the Nigeria Safety Investigation Bureau is at the headquarters of the National Inland Waterways Authority in Lokoja, Kogi State, as part of efforts to strengthen interagency collaboration and improve safety on the nation's waterways.
Our mandate, as I said earlier, is to investigate accidents in air, rail, road, marine, and basically any form of transport. If we had horses still and there was an accident, we would be the ones to investigate. We also issue safety recommendations after each investigation, and we monitor the compliance to those safety investigations.
The acting managing director of NIWA, Mr. Omar Gire, welcomes the proposed synergy with the NSIB and other agencies. He believes this collaboration will lead to stringent regulations as well as sustained stakeholder engagement and public sensitization, especially on the issue of overloading of boats and night travels.
NSIB is in the right place to do this job. So our own is going forward. We are going to partner with you to see how we can do it together to curb these menace on our waterways. As it is on our own part, we've deployed water marshals. We've also, on our own part, we do sensitization regularly. But like I said, these things, one cannot avoid it.
With agreements reached on ways to keep the waters safe, the agencies explore other areas of possible partnership.
This occurrence last year or so. Some of your officers told us that your regulation is undergoing review. So what I'm asking now is that because the way that regulation is now, we may not achieve what we want to achieve with NEO because we'll be citing your regulation whenever we come to investigate. So I don't know whether the review is in process, or I want us to know where you people are in the review of the regulation.
So we have records of accident statistics, and from 2022 up to now, we've done. Then we don't have a unit, with trained accident investigators to do training. We only ask marine engineers to go for, because most of the marine engineers then they are trained in marine survey. So accident investigation was part of the module that was that is in the training.
The visit is aimed at exploring areas of collaboration that will ensure safer navigation to reduce the increasing rate of boat mishaps to the barest minimum.
Welcome to Business News. Petrol price stability may hinge on stronger collaboration between Dangote Refinery and MRS filling stations as the refinery resumes coastal and gantry fuel loading after a 7-day suspension. CEO petroleumprice.ng Jeremiah Olatide says reinforcing the pricing arrangement and ensuring uninterrupted supply could curb price volatility, warning that future disruptions may trigger scarcity, profiteering and higher pump prices.
Stations around over 2,000 MRS stations in Nigeria would need to compete with the MRS and drop their price. So one of the reasons why we keep seeing varying prices is the movement from that strategy, that collaboration strategy between Dangote Refinery and MRS stations. So if that strategy is being reinforced and enhanced, and as soon as the gantry price is fixed, retail price for all MRS stations, which account to over 2,000 across Nigeria, is fixed, other independent stations would take their prices in line with the MRS station, and there will be a systemic price control. He also needs to make sure that supply glitch does not occur. What has happened in the last 7 days has caused a 18.6 increase in price at the depot. That is a 200 naira increase from 1,075 naira to 1,275 naira in just a week, just because there is a suspension of sales and loading at the refinery. So the federal government should work with the Dangote refinery to make sure that supply is not tampered with. because there is a direct connection between supply and prices. As soon as there is a glitch in supply, it will cause a form of scarcity, and traders will take advantage of it, and prices will keep rising.
The federal government has launched an agricultural intervention program aimed at supporting 2 million smallholder farmers across Nigeria who benefit from structured financing, quality farm inputs, extension services, weather advisories, and a guaranteed minimum price mechanism. The initiative, which is designed to improve productivity, reduce market risks, and strengthen agricultural value chains, is facilitated by the Bank of Agriculture in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. This is contained in a statement issued by Bank's team lead in charge of Corporate Communication Department, Ms. Ruth Didam. According to the statement, the launch is part of the Renewed Hope Smallholder Support and Value Chain Program, which was flagged off in Zaria, Kaduna State by the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Mr. Abubakar Kyari. The minister stressed that the program reflects the federal government's determination to boost domestic food production by strengthening support for smallholder farmers who produce approximately 85% of Nigeria's food. The statement adds that the managing director of the bank, Mr. Ayo Shotiri, described the program as a major shift in agricultural financing, noting that it places farmers at the center of a support system that extends beyond access to credit. And the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry has shared its mid-year observation on the state of the economy. The chairman, Mr. Leye Kukuloi, notes that the evolving global economic environment presents both opportunities and risks, underscoring the need for flexible, agile, and forward-looking policies to preserve macroeconomic stability and strengthen long-term growth. While higher crude oil prices resulting from geopolitical tensions may temporarily boost export earnings, government revenue, and external reserves, prolonged disruptions could sustain inflation through higher energy, transportation, fertilizer, and import costs.
The Chamber has observed that several projects captured in previous budgets remain either incomplete or unimplemented, highlighting the persistent challenge in project execution, monitoring, and value for money delivery. LCCI therefore called for a comprehensive reform in strengthening the budget preparation, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation. Government should establish a measurable key performance indicator, KPI, to strengthen project monitoring mechanism, improve transparency, accountability in public expenditure, and ensure that budgetary allocation translates into tangible improvement in infrastructure, public service, delivery, job creation, and overall welfare of Nigeria. Manufacturers, particularly the small and medium-sized enterprise, continue to face excessive regulatory burden arising from multiple registration requirements for products with identical formulation but different packaging size. This duplication increases compliance focus, delay market entry, and constrain business expansion. We call on relevant regulatory agencies to harmonize product registration requirements and adopt a risk-based approach that eliminates unnecessary duplication while maintaining product safety standards.
And that's news at 5. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayo Tunde Balogun. Coming up next is The World Today.